All right, here we go. Oh my goodness. Welcome to our masterclass today. I'm Lindsay House. I am a registered dietitian and private trainer turned accountability coach, which we will talk about. But as everyone is starting to come in, and if you see my eyeballs drifting today, I'm not getting distracted. I am looking at the chat. I would like everyone to go ahead and pull up your chat. And I'm going to say this a few times throughout because people will continue to trickle in. But where it says to, it needs to say to everyone. Okay, to everyone in the meeting. And that way we can all see the chats. I'm going to use the chat as our opportunity to ask questions. I have a couple of my powerhouse members, my community manning the chat. So we'll definitely get questions answered. And if we don't get them answered in our class today, if we run out of time, I have some one-on-one availability to jump on a call with me or just message me in a private message. Okay. So just know we will get around to everything, but our best way of communication is to utilize the chat. And what else? Oh, just turn off your, please turn off your sound. Feel free to turn off your pictures. We're just coming in as this opportunity to kick back, and one of my biggest recommendations for you today is to turn off all your dings and rings. Put your phone down so you can't see anything flashing at you, or even better yet, put it in a different room. But I know not everybody has the availability to do that. But I just highly encourage you to come in today and enjoy some you time. You have taken the time and effort to show up. I promise I have amazing content coming your way. You will not walk away disappointed, but I want you to not be distracted. I want you to grab your cup of coffee, tea, water, grab a notebook so you can take some notes, or maybe you're out on a walk and that's okay. If you're out busy doing something, no worries. But if you are sitting behind your desk, clear it off, bring a notepad, bring a favorite beverage, and let's just hang out and let's learn together today and just see what carved out time can provide. I know I'm totally guilty of this, of showing up to classes when I sign up for webinars or master classes. I'll show up and I'll turn off my face and my volume. And sometimes I am multitasking like the best of them, right? Like I've got my email up, I've got my task list. I might even be on the side working with, teachers or my kiddos. Like I know that multitasking needs to happen sometimes, but it is a beautiful thing to shut everything down and just come as you are and just enjoy. So that is my encouragement for you today. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, start introducing yourself. Let me know who you are, where you are from. There's a little lag time between when I talk and when you respond. So I'm going to try to respect that today because I feel like normally I rush on through it. So, yes, introduce yourself. I'd love to know like what country or state you are coming from. I'm going to peek this direction. Oh, hi, Jan from Florida, Kathy from Ohio, Ginger from Colorado. Wow, we're coming in from all around. This is awesome. Julie from Kentucky, another Julie from Alabama. Fun. Bev, Noreen, welcome. Welcome. I hope I'm about to say this name correctly. Celia. Welcome, Busy. I love that name. Busy, welcome. Oh, this is so fun. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have you. And if I'm missing you right now, I apologize. Again, I will come over to the chat. Deborah, hello, welcome. Another Kentucky crew. That's amazing. All right. Again, if I miss you, I apologize. Keep saying hi and I'll keep looking through the chat. So I'm going to go ahead. I feel like we're going to keep letting people in. As people keep coming in, I just want to tell you, please take this moment to turn off your sound, okay? We're just keeping this as presentation style, and I will take your questions over in the chat. Pull up your chat box and make sure that you have it set to everyone in that blue box so that everyone in the chat can see your questions. I'm happy with you responding to each other. If you have a question and maybe you've come in to join me today and you feel like you have a really great response to somebody, feel free. My only request is, can we please keep this positive? If you have negative thoughts or feelings, feel free to private message me. Please do not put that damper on somebody else's day. I want to keep this, as I keep all of my communities, very positive. We are here to cheer each other on. We are here to support each other. We are not here to bring each other down or throw stones. And again, I get it. We might be coming in frustrated today. You might have whatever thoughts and feelings laid on your heart, and please just take it over to it. You can take it over to my private message and I will reach out to you. Okay. I promise I'll respond. Okay. So I am going to now, I will be a little visual for you up in the corner, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And I'm going to keep this to where you can see me a little bit. And again, if my eyeballs drift, it's because I have a bunch of screens that I'm looking at. And go ahead and introduce again what we are talking about today. We are talking about turning away from diet mentality. I'll tell you why I have so much passion behind that, and busting through weight loss plateaus, how to stimulate your metabolism and build sustainable results. Yes, please, right? And if you had said yes, please, that is probably why you took the time and effort to show up today. And even if you're watching this recorded, I just want to tell you, thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored when somebody takes time out of their day to come and join me to listen. And my promise to you is I will always respect your time. I will always respect the fact that you are taking a chance on listening to me. I will always come with my professional self and with content that you will always walk away with something. Okay. It will never just be a sales pitch. It will never just be, something that you feel like you wasted time on. The reality is, do I have something to offer? Of course, I would like to work with you. I'm going to open up and offer one-on-one sessions that we could Zoom together on. Those are free. Okay. So lots of free opportunities to show up, and don't ever worry about, am I wasting her time? You're not wasting my time. I'm even telling my clients, take advantage of the free opportunities too, right? Join me. So again, but for now, let's dive into this topic that you came for in the first place: turning away from diet mentality, busting through weight loss plateaus. And one of the things that I need you to do as we settle in together is I need you in this mind frame of start asking yourself the question, how will this work for me? Instead of, will this work for me? And the reason why I care about shifting your brain space right now is because when we ask ourselves the question, how will this work for me? It's a growth versus fixed mindset. It makes your brain automatically start searching for answers that you'll go, how could this work for me? And the will this work for me is a very like yes or no, right? Like, yes, it could work for me. No, it won't. And I want to just give you an example with what I mean by this. So let's pretend that you walked into a session with someone and they were telling you that you need to go to the gym to work out. And if you went in with a will this work for me mentality, you could quickly go to no. You could quickly go to, I already know that the gym doesn't work for me. I've tried it in the past. I've failed in the past. I am in a season of life that I have small kiddos. I don't have time for the gym, nor space, nor kid coverage, right? And so it just becomes like a quick no. Where if you asked yourself the question, how will this work for me? You still have your same barriers, but you start searching for answers. And so you start going, okay, Well, I have small kiddos, but maybe I could search for a gym that has childcare that I actually feel comfortable putting my kids into. Or maybe I could pick a time in the day that my spouse is home and could help and give me that hour that I need. Or maybe I have an in-law or a mom close by, a parent close by that wouldn't mind popping over and having some grandkid time while I escape to the gym. Can you feel how different that is when we do the how and the searching for answers versus the will and the yes or no? So type in the chat, type how or type growth. That might be better. Type growth mindset in the chat. If you are ready to enter this session together with an open mind, open eyes, open ears, growth mindset, and we're going to find answers together today. Okay. Okay. So let's keep it going. I also need you to settle into remembering that the same old thinking yields the same old results. And actually, what I even more want you to hear or see is that if you change nothing, nothing will change. You'll hear that come out of my mouth a lot. And I also feel like I personally live by it. I have a message board in my kitchen that says, if you change nothing, nothing will change, because it's the smallest changes that we can decide to make that all of a sudden ripple into the bigger changes, that all of a sudden ripple into maybe if I change my beverage in the morning, that I used to start with coffee and now all of a sudden I'm going to start with water before my coffee, that then I notice I have a little bit more energy. And that little bit more energy made me say yes to a walk at lunch. And then the yes at the walk at lunch helped me drink a little more water. And the more water I drank, the better I kept feeling in the day. And I took out a diet soda in my day. Ripple, 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 right? So I need you very open to the idea that we don't want to come in with the same thinking because it will yield the same results. We don't want to be closed off to the idea that we're not going to make any changes, because the smallest of changes can ripple into the next change. So again, just really trying to set the stage here of, if I change nothing, nothing will change in open minds. All right. And I love this visual of the messy brain picture down below, and then the clear mind, because this is a little bit how I picture when clients come to a consult with me, or maybe how you came to this webinar today, that you like have all these thoughts and all these shoulds and all these things that you know could and should be happening, but blah, you don't even know where to start. And then you start to listen to somebody that has some wisdom for you, or you start to work with a coach and they start help pulling all that craziness in the brain down on paper and prioritizing and showing you where it fits in the week, how it can become manageable. And there's this like, the relaxing of shoulders. There's this deep breath that can happen where we go, okay, okay, I can envision that, right? So again, type it in the chat. Who's ready for a clear brain? Who's ready to prioritize? Say, yes, please. Ready to be able to look at your day, look at your week, and go, all right, I know what I'm about to tackle. So that was my last question here, is just this, what do you need? And I want you to discuss that in the chat too. Like, do you need, what are you hungry for? What do you need? Do you need sleep? Do you need energy? Do you need time? Do you need space? Do you need help? Are you in a crazy season of life where you feel like you are caretaker of both parents and children and working and where you're like, I can't do it all. How many hats are you wearing in a day? Because I feel like for a lot of us, it's multiple hats. And I'm going to steal something from my wise husband, who stole something from his wise coworker, who at one point said, I can be an amazing mom. I can be a good friend. I can be a career woman. I can be a good daughter. I can't be them all on the same day, And I think that's like that moment where it's like, whoo, chills. Agreed. Cannot be them all in the same day. And it's okay. Like, we're not supposed to be. We're just supposed to understand where all of our needs come in. And then it's the prioritizing. It's the, how do I line that up? Okay. And I won't spend a lot of time on this because I see how fast these sessions can go. But all about me and why or how do I have any background to be sitting in front of you and giving any advice? So I did go to college and got my degree in dietetics and went on to get my personal training license. And I will tell you, I am so proud of those years, but it's so funny where they have landed me. Like, I definitely feel like I love the coaching space. I love the accountability space. And again, because it goes back to my clients telling me I know what to do, I just need to do it. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and you're probably like, why didn't you put a picture of your family? Oh, because I thought you should meet my darling little dog, Razy. We moved to Arkansas over the last 3.5 years. And when my kids got a little sad that we were moving, we promised a dog. And so if you are an Arkansas fan, Razorback fan, that is where Razy got her name. We were in between Razy or Suey for Pig Suey, and we settled with Razy. So her name is Razy Fayette House, and she is definitely our best alarm clock in the house, and it's making school wake ups so much easier. I feel like I need you to know this. I need you to know that I'm not hardcore. Like, I don't feel personally like I ever want to have to eat perfectly. I don't ever want to feel like I have to work out every day of the week and follow a specific schedule in order to get results. And I also, as much as I love my wine or cookies or treats or sweets or laying around on the couch, I equally love the other side of apples and salads and beautiful plates filled with colors and I do like working out and I like meeting people at the gym and I like walking with friends in the morning. I just moved back to Cincinnati and I feel like my best way to catch back up with everyone has been meet me for a run in the morning or meet me for a walk. So I like it all. I like both. And I think that that's really important because that's what direction, not perfection stands for me. And that's how I coach with my clients is that I just remember when I was working in the hospital outpatient for so many years, that it was like one of the first things that clients came in and told me, and they're like, don't take away my Diet Coke. Don't make me go to the gym. Like there was all these preset notions of please don't do this to me, or please, don't ask this of me. And I'm like, I'm not. We're gonna work together. We're gonna see what your individual, like, what's your low-hanging fruit? What's the thing that you're willing to work on right now? And that's the beauty of individualization is that we can take your needs and what you're willing to work on and start with that. Okay, so I definitely have my own struggles with time and boundaries because I'm a mom, because we're in sports, we're in that season of life. So I just need you to know that about me. I can be a little guilty of too many yeses. And I think that's why I also like to really hit hard on boundaries and their importance. I'm the creator of the Powerhouse program, this 12-week course that I have put together that I'm so proud of. And I also have a membership where I hold and host these beautiful women that join me monthly. And I have been working with clients for over 15 years. Okay. So I feel like that's where if you're like, why do you have any experience? Because I've been living it. I've been living this for 15 plus years. And I just feel like I've kind of seen it all. And I know where my frustrations personally come in for my clients because I love my clients and I want to see them succeed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and as not to overwhelm you, just kind of do this one at a time, but we're going to start to get into the meat of our talk today. So if you are ready, type in the chat, say ready. Awesome. Kathy, Deborah, Bev, Evelyn, busy. I'm loving it. Ready, 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 ready. Let's do this. Okay, the real reason why your weight is stagnant. Here we go. One of the first things that I want to talk about, I'm going to give you multiple bullet points and we'll just kind of see what resonates for you. But if you are using the scale, if you are using those numbers to measure your success, even circumference measurements kind of come into play here for me. If that is your only measurement of whether you are succeeding or whether you are failing, this could be a huge plateau for you or even fall off the wagon for you. And one of my examples with this is when people only use the scale, you could be doing so many other beautiful things great during the week, and I've told the story a lot, but I had multiple clients at the hospital come in, and I'd have this moment from when I picked them up in the waiting room until I walked them over to the scale that they would be grinning and happy and telling me I walked more this week and I prepped my lunches and I didn't eat out as much and I met a friend for social time and I dated my husband one night and then I put them on the scale, and all of a sudden, I lose them because the number wasn't what they were expecting. It didn't even have to be weight loss. It didn't even have to be like they could have lost, but it was only 2 pounds. And that was so frustrating for them because they're like, I put in all this effort and it was only 2 pounds. And if you've ever felt that way with the scale, it's a huge red flag that we need to make sure we have multiple other measurements of success, that we have all these other areas that we can be viewing and going, okay, I have written down my wins for the week. And even though my number is telling me one thing, I can quickly go back and visually see all these other successes and understand that I'm still making progress. I even have a scale of success survey that was developed by a therapist that I work with. And I love that she did this. I think it's 50 questions. It's 25 or 50. I can't believe I'm blanking on that. But you walk through and it's like the mental component too. You can assess anxiety going down or depression lifting. You can social circumstances as well as physical. There's all these different types of questions where depending on how you answer and you get to the end of that survey, you can assess, am I seeing success? Am I moving the needle forward, even though the number on the scale isn't telling me that? So that would be something that we would talk about and is built within my program so that we have multiple measurements of success. Do you happen to be counting calories or points and feeling very restricted by it? Like maybe you've dieted so long that you're always trying to stay under 1,200 calories, or you're always trying to stay under a certain amount of points. And what has ended up happening, like it used to work for you, but it's no longer working for you. If anything, it kind of kicks you straight into diet mentality. You feel deprived. This is kind of an area where you see yourself self-sabotaging because you don't want a point or a calorie telling you what to do. And so this is definitely an area. I'm not opposed to it by any means. I even encourage some, as looking at it as research, looking at calories or looking at points, looking at food choices. But if this is an area that is really starting to turn you off, it's important to pull away from it for a while. So just know that there's other ways to do this that have nothing to do with points or calories. But I definitely think that this can plateau someone or again, like push them with their success. Okay. I need you to hear me on this because I think I get excited about this topic because I fall into it. So I'm curious if it resonates with you. But you cannot out-exercise your food habits. And I'm going to say it again. You cannot out-exercise your food habits. And the reason why I think it's so important to hone in on this, because my niche, my clientele is normally 40 plus, 40s, 50s, 60s, moms, grandmas. A lot of us are in that menopausal phase. And just pounding the pavement or just upping the workout time or intensity is not equating to pounds lost on the scale. Frustrating, right? So it's important because if you are guilty of going, well, it used to work, and now because I've seen it work for me in the past, I'm going to keep making sure that it works or looks like this, or that's the area that I head towards. We could be pounding down or knocking at the wrong door for way too long where we needed to shift our focus. Maybe it needs to be more food oriented, or maybe it needs to be more mental. We have never investigated the emotional part of this journey, and that's really where we need to investigate. Like maybe our sleep is terrible, maybe our stress is off the charts, and yet we have not addressed that. We just continue to come back to, I'll just exercise more. So that would be another area we would investigate. Maybe you are functioning out of all or nothing mentality. I know a lot of us are guilty about this. We are either on or we are off. There is no in between. And the problem with this is that there is this level or expectation of perfectionism within that. And when we think like that, that on or off, and I think this is our, when we think in on or off, when we're on, we're so good. But when we're off, we take this like total fall off. We can take months to get back on track. And it's the months that we've fallen off that we can really do some damage to all that progress that we made when we were on. And so there's got to be like this gray area where we can not be perfect, but still make great progress. I actually had a client one time. I've even developed a worksheet around this because I really have a strong belief around it, but it's called the Perfect Day Worksheet. And what you're supposed to do with this homework is you're supposed to write out, what would a day look like where you would actually give yourself credit? Like, what would that perfect day where you'd go, yes, I accomplished it all. And I'm telling you, by the time she was done writing out her perfect day, she was laughing because she's like, I'll never be able to like sustain this. I could do it for a day. I could do it for a week, but I could never do this for a lifetime or even months. So to really think about that. And sorry, I clicked into this next one too soon, but maybe you're always working on the physical or like the fitness component, the nutrition component, but you never put any importance on the mental wellness component. And I know I already started to touch on that, but I am a huge advocate of working on the mental wellness piece, of grabbing the therapist as needed, of diving into the harder topics. And I know that's scary for a lot of people, but that would be something we could talk over and kind of, I could help you understand what that could look like. Okay. So let's dive into this next area. Once we understand what can be keeping our weight stagnant, now let's talk about getting results and breaking down limiting beliefs. Because another area that keeps us stagnant is if we're constantly living in a limiting belief. So let's do this one by one again. But one limiting belief that I've heard come out of clients' mouths has been, I don't have enough time in the day to grocery shop, to cook, to work out, to do all the things that I need to do in order to get the results that that person's getting, that neighbor, that friend, that professional, that the person I follow on social media is getting. So we've already discounted ourselves before we even start because we don't feel like we have all of it. We don't have the time, the energy, the grocery shopping, the cooking, the working out to do all the things. And I'm just here to tell you, you don't have to. You need pieces and parts and components. And that's where if we did that and we prioritize what made sense in your life, and we took that and let that ripple into the next successes, you would get success off of smaller actions and having them all happen, is my goodness to you. Another limiting belief might look like I don't have the energy or motivation to make huge habit changes that will truly affect my health. And so my example within this would look more like, maybe you're the individual going, you know what? I could fit in a 20-minute walk or a run in my day, but does that even make a difference? Does that even count? It does. It does. This is the limiting belief. This is the problem with this belief, is that you don't do anything because you think it needs to be an hour or more to make a dent in your progress. So we like self-sabotage by accident because we think it takes hours or all this energy to make change, when the reality is, again, little by little, a little becomes a lot. Our success happens as we make the small changes. Are they exciting? Woohoo, lose 5 pounds a week changes? Sorry, no, but the changes do equal results, but it's slower. And I'm going to keep saying that, because if you don't agree with me in that, I don't think you're meant to be with me right now, because I will never shift from that thinking. I am such a huge advocate of little by little by. Okay, another limiting belief, and this is real, okay? Like, I feel like I get it. I get why pain would feel like, if I have debilitating pain, I will never be able to work out the way I need to work out that's necessary to get weight loss. And what I need to say around that, or speak on around that, is that, again, with smaller changes in different aspects of your life, we can still get results. And then we work towards the movement that you are capable of. But we'd start more food, more mental, let those actions gain some momentum, get your wins under your belt, your success, get your brain in the right place, and then we work on more movement. It's a step-by-step process in everyone's journey. And the important thing is to not feel like, again, like we don't have to have it all nailed down to start. We just need to start. That's the important part. All right. Another limiting belief: I don't sleep well due to menopause during this season of life, or it runs in my family. It's just genetics, it's hereditary, which, okay, I hear you, I do. But I also have to say that even though that could be a component, normally there are a lot of other aspects of this that we could be investigating. Like, are you taking screens to bed? Do you have a good bedtime routine? Are you drinking caffeine too close to bedtime? Are you having alcohol too close to bedtime? There's all these other things we could investigate before we just chalk it up or blame it on menopause. And last, I want to say, another limiting belief: I'm the yes woman. I truly don't know how to say no. And sometimes it honestly just feels selfish to spend more time on myself. So this is a thing with limiting beliefs, is sometimes we can even already know we have them or recognize them, but to change them doesn't even feel like it's something that you want to do. You're like, I don't want to say more no's. Like, I like this part of my personality, and that's okay. We just need to address it, and make sure that it's not becoming a barrier, a hardship, or even a health risk for you because of the too many yeses. And everyone would look different on that. Okay. Once we have figured out what might be plateauing us, we have figured out our limiting beliefs, all this mental component around moving the needle forward. What is the real barrier to weight loss success? I want to talk about root causes. Okay, because root causes are like the reason why the barriers started in the first place. And some of us are not insightful yet, growth mindset, not insightful yet about our root causes and what's our barrier. So this is one thing that I wanted to say at this point. I like this visual over here because it's a visual of exactly what my clients tell me. Like, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. There's a Chinese proverb that says, knowing and not doing is not knowing. And what that means is that maybe we don't know or understand our root causes of why we're stagnant or why we have barriers, but we feel like we do. So let's talk on this for a second. So pain could be a root cause of why you're not taking action. And let me give you an example with that. So let's say that you should be, there's that word should be working out more and going to the gym. And you're like, I have the time, I just don't know why I'm not doing it. And the reality is, when you go to the gym more, you've noticed that the next day you really pay for it with your knees are in a lot of pain, or maybe your hips, maybe you're kind of on the verge of needing a hip replacement or hip surgery. Like, you're in pain the next day and it kind of ruins your whole next day. So maybe you're not giving credit to the root cause that pain could be your barrier, your issue. Okay. Um, Untreated emotional eating is a huge root cause. This goes more into that, like, again, mental wellness. And one of my examples with untreated emotional eating is that somebody could be going, I know I shouldn't be nibbling at night. I know I shouldn't be eating in the evening hours. Why can't I just not eat? Stop doing it. Like, I have no willpower, is some of the self talk that ends up coming out of that. And the reality is, the untreated emotional eating is happening. The nibbling at night is happening because the stress levels haven't been taken care of. Like, your day's crazy. You're so stressed. You finally hit the end of the night. You get everybody else situated, and it's your only me time. It's your only carved out time. And food is an area that you can seek pleasure. You might be hungry for you time, me time, but you are eating food, salty, sweet, whatever, because it's giving you brief moments of pleasure that you are seeking. Okay, another root cause would be poor sleep habits. Poor sleep habits is a big one. I had a podcast guest one time say it like this, that sleep is the Swiss Army knife of health. What does that mean? It just means sleep affects our movement, it affects our joints, it affects our nutrition, when we are underslept, it affects our depression, it affects our anxiety, it affects everything. And yet sometimes we're not paying attention to it. Sometimes it's the last thing on our list that we're actually going towards. Unprotected boundary. There's those boundary words again. Actually, could you just type in the chat for a second if you feel like you're one of those? Do you have unprotected boundaries? And you don't, if you feel like this is like too vulnerable, it's okay. I'm not even going to read off the chat list right now. But if you feel that way, like a little raise of hands, because again, it might not feel detrimental to have too many yeses in your life. But at the end of the day, when we are saying those yeses, we're also saying no somewhere else. And if you feel like, again, I know I should be working out more, I know I should be grocery shopping, I know I should be eating out less, maybe you have too many yeses on your plate. And that would be a really big root cause of why things aren't happening, and a good area for us to investigate together. I keep saying this, but there will be this one-on-one call that I'm offering for free. And I'm going to send you a calendar link to book it. But like, if there's any of these areas that you're going, yeah, that's really resonating with me, and I'd love your opinion on it, I'd love your referral on it, I'd love to talk to you more about it, use me. Okay. That is why I am doing this. Okay. So I just gave you all of that insight, that background, that information, and now how to manage your barriers. Like, I get it, but now how do I manage it? What does that even look like? Okay, these are my recommendations. I told you I've been doing this for 15 plus years with clients, and I feel like this is like the secret sauce of what makes a journey flow, what catches somebody before they hit that full fall off. And one is putting your professional resources in place to address both the physical and the emotional needs. Okay, so that could look like putting your dietitian in place, putting your personal trainer in place, putting your therapist in place, putting your physician in place. It just depends on where you need that resource to go, but you need them, and they don't always even have to be in. It's just you would know who to jump on a call with. I feel like when I started in my program, there's been different phases of my program that I'm like, oh, I really need somebody to talk to me about Facebook ads, or I really need somebody to talk to me about um marketing, like how to my copy, my language to my people, I'm not always the most savvy with. So it was so nice to pull different coaches for different reasons. And I think the same thing within food or fitness or mental, like all of them, we have different people speak over us that kind of like make something click, make something sink in. So I also need you to consider building accountability systems that will aid in your consistency with your habits or your goal setting. Because it's one thing to get all motivated and dive into a program, and then it's another to sustain it. And it's the accountability, knowing that you're going to show up and talk to somebody about it, to rehash it, to reset it. And that's why I also have a membership, is because we need to keep coming back to conversations, keep coming back to goals month after month after month for them to finally feel like they are just part of our life, right? We need to practice building resiliency. And I keep telling my Powerhouse membership women, like, if we walked away from nothing else, if we were a resilient group of women, I would be so proud and feel so much success for our group. Because what does resiliency mean? It means that we are able to show up to goals, be able to fall completely away from them because life happened, career happened, kid gets sick happened, parent needs you happened, and then find the day, the next day, or maybe the next Monday or whenever to just jump back on track because we're resilient, because we know how to overcome a situation quickly and get back on track. Okay. We also need to practice the ability to turn away from diet mentality and find a multitude of different ways to measure our success. If we cannot find all these different ways to measure success, and this goes into the next bullet point too, just being intentional about celebrating our wins. This is actually like an art, the art of celebrating our wins, because we need to practice, we need to understand how to celebrate our wins. And once we get that down, once we get down resources, accountability, resiliency, turning away from diet mentality and celebrating our wins, your puzzle pieces have fallen into place for sustainable success. Not immediate, sparkly, shiny success possibly, but sustainable success. And that, my friends, is why I wanted to introduce you to a program that I have put together. It's called the Powerhouse Plan. I feel like this word powerhouse keeps entering every area of my business, my clients, because powerhouse is this beautiful word of empowering those that we work with, right? It's letting individuals know that they have control over their journey. And it's so cool when somebody can individualize their plan, when they can show up with resiliency, when they can show up with confidence, with ability to protect oneself, like because they feel empowered to do so. So I've pulled together all those tools that I was talking about: professional resources, accountability system, resiliency training, tools on how to continue to pull away from diet mentality. And again, learning that art of celebrating your wins. And I've stuck it all within a 12-week program. And it's just cool because you can show up daily or weekly, and you've got these modules that are recorded. You get one-on-one with me. You get worksheets that keep you on track. And you get a community that supports you around it. And want to talk about, like, I keep calling it my intensive option. It's my intensive plan because you dive in for 12 weeks and you are so handheld that, and not handheld through something that's just giving you the plan, but handheld through a program that's so individualized. Before, I never put together a program because I'm like, I have to see my patients, my clients one-on-one. If I don't see them one-on-one, then how am I going to help them individually? And then as I went through my own program, I'm like, oh, you give them one-on-one and you give the modules and it's like the coolest thing ever. I can't give my clients who only show up to me once every other week, they're not getting this level of accountability because we fall away, right? We meet and then we put a date on the calendar, and then a week or two goes by and then we meet again. And it's like there was all this other opportunity throughout those weeks to have had that chance to jump in together and catch somebody in a moment of fall off, or help build the resiliency or the mental training. So what do I need you to do today is the book a call part. This is the free call that I keep talking about. I'm going to call it a weight loss consult call. And I have a link for you that we're going to put in the chat here. And so go ahead and grab that link. I will also, if you are part of my Direction Not Perfection community, I keep sticking it in post there as well. So feel free to grab that link, grab a call with me. Again, it is free, it is low pressure. And again, if you are already a client with me, you are allowed. If you're a family member, I've heard my mother-in-law before say, I don't want to take advantage of your one-on-one space because I don't want to like you use up or take open space. You are allowed. It is why it is there. I am here for everyone, okay? And the spaces are limited, so grab them quickly, but I will continue to make sure that we individualize this journey for you and bring you clarity around those health goals. I just wanted to kind of close out with some common questions. And one is, what if I'm already working with another practitioner? Would it still be appropriate to book a call? Yeah, yes, absolutely. We as practitioners work best in teams. So even if you already have another dietitian, if you already have a therapist, a trainer, bring it, right? Like we're good in teams because then we get to cover all areas like I've been already telling you about. Question two, I've tried every diet in the book and nothing has worked for me. Should I still book a call? And yes, this time together is meant to be an opportunity to get to know you and understand where you are coming from. Okay. So at the very minimum, I can be a resource for you to go, hey, I think that you might really benefit from booking an endocrinologist appointment or investigating with this physician or booking with a concierge type physical therapist. Like something's going on there. I'm a really good resource. Okay. So utilize me. Don't worry if you feel like I've done it all, it's not working, and I don't want to disappoint you with one more failure. That is not what we're talking about. Another question would be, I've already spent so much money trying to lose weight, and I'm really not interested in anything other than free. Do you still want me to book a call, even though you know I'm not going to spend any further money on working with you? Yes, I just said that. Yes, book a call. Let's just talk. Let's just get you moving in a good direction that you can feel confident with your next right step, your next decision, even if that's just laying a podcast in your lap with a health professional that I've interviewed that you just can respect and maybe move your needle forward. What if I'm a rare or odd case? I love this, and I hear this often with weight loss, and I've been tossed around to so many professionals. Should I still book a call? Yes. My hope for you is to keep banging down the next door, to keep asking the questions, because you never know who's going to be your next person that goes, hey, I have someone for you. If it's me, great. If it's not, I have someone for you. So please just nobody take themselves off of the like maybe it shouldn't be me plate. Just book a call. It's 20 minutes, super easy. I'm going to leave this screen up for 2 seconds while I continue to just tell you that you are not alone. You are not a lost cause. It's like one of the things I always ask my podcast guests when I'm closing out a podcast is, have you ever had a lost cause? And their answer is always no. I think the lost causes come from somebody seeing enough, I'm going to call it failures, which they're not failures, or seeing enough non-success that they feel like they are a lost cause. It's a feeling, it's not a fact. And so just know that there's always that next step where we can again handhold through the process and dive into the research, dive into the professionals that are at our fingertips. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute so that I can look you in the eyeballs. Again, we're going to dump the link of the booking the calls in the chat. So please feel free to grab that. If you've already booked your call, will you raise your hand? Will you just shout it out in the chat that you've already booked your call? I'm going to peek over here. There's always that delay. Oh, yes, Kathy, you already booked your call. Jan, you've already booked your call. And Busy, you haven't said anything in there yet, but I already saw you. I peeked at my Zoom page and I saw that we get to chat. So yay. Keep the calls coming. Again, I opened up a ton tomorrow, this Friday, and I even opened up some Saturday times. And then there's more beyond that. But jump on, let's chat. I hope I'm not missing anything. I always end this way, but I mean it. Just cheers to so much health and happiness, and you're not a lost cause. I can't talk. Not a lost cause, and you're not alone. Okay. Please don't feel alone. Reach out if you have any further questions. And that is all for now, my friends.